Hey guys, Bishme back with another video, and today we just got our week 3 recap, right? No, it's week 4 week recap of the Shadows Realm Draft League, and I'm here with Shiny Shuriken.
What's going on, everybody? It's Shiny Shuriken back here again over on Bishme's channel. I'm excited to chat about week 4, and you guys are all gonna know why if you watched my draft battle. But we'll get into that later.
So yeah, just in case you guys missed, make sure you guys head over to Shiny Shuriken's channel. He has our week 3 recap and our week 1 recap, and I also have week 2. So we're gonna be bouncing back and forth. So if you guys missed it, go check it out. But it's not wasting your time. Gonna get into these power rankings. So looking at it now, it wasn't that much change between, I want to say, like the 8 and up. But Shiny, after following a win against our new coach EJ, he jumped 5 spots, got into that top 10 spot once again. So how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see as big of a jump as I got. If I remember correctly, I only picked up a 3-0 win over EJ. Still had some misplays in my matchup and could have played a little bit better, but I'm very excited with this. And a quick call out, I did actually get week 3 MVP coach.
Hey.
I did have a very good win. I think I played it very well. There's always ways to learn and get better, but yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about being in 7th for the power ranking.
Yeah, and I totally agree, man. Like I said, jumping 5, getting the biggest jump, I was a little surprised because, he was a new coach. So, definitely being in his shoes once before, getting that coming in, picking up a team, and like that first match is kind of tough because, everybody else has had those prior weeks to really feel their team, and it's like your first match in. But I mean, I respect it,
Sure. I'll make one comment. We did play at the very end of the week. We played Sunday. I left it completely up to them if they, Manny gave us approval to run our match into week 4 if we needed to, if EJ needed extra time, which I was completely fine with.
Mm-hmm.
But we came to an agreement to match up on Sunday on the final day. They made drops early in the week, reset their entire team. It was a lot of changes. So they still had some time. And we're all playing Pokemon. We're all pretty well versed with what's going on with these teams. And I think the only thing that EJ was lacking was just the experience with the team.
Yeah.
And to only lose 3-0 with a team that you're playing with for the first time, trying to learn its synergy, I don't see it as that negative. I don't really think that his lack of time with it is anything. I mean, it was I matched up very well with the team.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Your team against his, you definitely had the winning matchup. But and then in my case, I dropped following a loss to Sen. I believe before I was number 3, so it was number 3 versus number 2, and I did pick up the loss, but I only dropped 1 because I was shown to be a really strong coach in the weeks prior. So losing to someone who was ranked higher than me didn't drop me as far, which I think. Hopefully I could pick up a win and bust into that top 3 again for this week.
Yeah, I agree with the movement. I agree, not a massive drop. I think you have overall showed that your team has a lot of strong potential. And we've made this comment before, but I love bringing it up. Even on misplays, your team still performs phenomenally. Yeah. And I think that's what keeps you up in the top 5. It just shows the overall strength of the team.
Right, definitely. So let's get into the match of week 4, Shiny Shurikens.
Yeah. So let me get that up, and I'm gonna hit play in 3, 2, 1. So I picked my lead off basically with the idea that Araquanid could be a potential lead, but it was very slim. So basically I wanted to lead Ninjask for the U-turn potential, solid damage, and I have options to switch around. And I get the perfect matchup. Ninjas came to deal with Araquanid. Uh,
Yeah.
all of my Kelks, the best Kelk possible. I was KOing this thing so much, and we pick up a huge Oko on the first move.
Yo, and I love that because you always talk about not being well versed in leadoffs, and this was like your best one yet.
Yeah. I also had U-turn on Inteleon, and because Inteleon matches up so well with this team, I was contemplating leading Inteleon, but I really wanted Araquanid gone before Inteleon went off with Snipe Shot.
Yeah, because looking at his team, like that was really the only thing that was stopping Inteleon from going on a sweep. And as you can see, he must have had more like special defense, because I believe you said at max HP and 100 defense it was a chance to kill, but then
Yeah.
because you took it out right there, it just opened the door for your Inteleon.
Yeah, big time. And here they brought in the Ninjask, and one of the big things that I want to call out that I was surprised to not see, that I was really happy. I didn't see Gigalith come, which was huge. So it meant we had the Mold Breaker Excadrill, which I think is great for Mimikyu. But it's interesting that he didn't want to try to outpace my team at all. He basically forfeited the speed for some power.
Yeah, and like looking at your team's like speed overall, you have a really fast team. And
They do.
yeah, like his like Sand Rush Excadrill would have definitely been a great bring, or even if he had a scarf on any of his mons for a little bit of speed control.
Yeah, true. Um, there was a lot of opportunity, I think, for a Sand Rush Excadrill. I think I don't know why the reason for not bringing it. Maybe just because thought Mimikyu was such a threat. But in here, when I look at my team, like Inteleon was a bigger threat. So
Right.
it was interesting. But I bring out Vileplume here on the Excadrill because Vileplume's a great defensive wall and takes everything from Vileplume very well. I make a solid prediction on the Sludge Bomb. I predict the Chandelure switch in, and I go Sludge Bomb, which obviously was going to be. It wouldn't do anything to an Excadrill. It would be. It has no effect. But I predict that switch, and we get so lucky with a poison because I would love to know if he had a subset, because it neutralizes it immediately.
Yo, and I love that play because like we've talked about, if you have a prediction, make it. And as you said, Sludge Bomb on Excadrill, it does nothing. So the normal person would be like, why would you try to Sludge Bomb the Excadrill? But we're playing chess, not checkers. You gotta think ahead, and you predicting the Chandelier coming in, that was great. Like yo, I love this battle so much, man.
Yeah. So basically, I make a switch out. I was trying to predict a flamethrower, which is fine. They go Shadow Ball, which is a nice neutral ground move to hit a lot of my team. And here's where I'm trusting my predictions, and I'm trying to feel like, all right, they're gonna expect me to set up a light screen. I wonder if they kind of forego the Zuko here, the Chandelure, but they actually want to switch and keep it around. So Sucker Punch was a bad play, but it's okay. I want to make those plays when I can. Here's an interesting moment where I could have stayed in and taken a hit from the girder. It would have been, yeah, I think I would have lived because I do have defensive investment, and I could have gone Spirit Break, but I like my play here. I know that a fighting type move is coming off, and I'm just trying to keep ahead on my predictions. And I want to go right into Mimikyu, and without even trying, I'm preserving differential here too.
And yo, I think it was fine for you not going light screen, because say you did, it wouldn't have really protected much against the girder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like either play was solid at that point.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have gotten the Sucker Punch off on Chandelure, it would have been pretty great.
Yeah.
But I make a solid play here, predict the Drain Punch, Mimikyu gets in for free, and basically I'm free to hit a Play Rough. But a quick call out, I make a really hilarious realization here that I brought the wrong Mimikyu. I have several shiny Mimikyu all in the same box, right next to each other, and I grabbed the wrong one. I have one built with a Drain Punch on it, but they're the same three: Shadow Sneak, Play Rough, and Shadow Claw. I've also got Wood Hammers and stuff, and I brought the wrong one, which is a bummer because it would have been interesting to see how the battle played out if I had it. Because here I get a play rough and it does great damage. I lose my life orb, which is okay. With Eviolite, I know I outspeed. He can't mock punch me, so like play rough's an easy call here. But it's just interesting on the following plays, like how Drain Punch would have changed the battle.
Yeah, and I feel like if you had gone for the Drain Punch on the Girder, that would have been fine, expecting the drill to come in, because I'm not sure why he didn't just switch straight into Excadrill on the first turn. It was Mold Breaker, so the decoy wouldn't really have done much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's interesting because I like what you're saying. I get that movement. But at the same time, if I would have had Drain Punch,
well, yeah.
If you're predicting Drain Punch as well,
okay.
Excadrill's not a great switch. So like, it took the play rough really well. So the initial switch in is good. But yeah, it wouldn't have really mattered if I actually had my Drain Punch. But here I get another lucky break. I've had 2 lucky breaks: the Sludge Bomb, Poison, and this is the first time I've ever had Vileplume's effects board go off in a draft battle. And I pick up a Sleep, and that's amazing.
So I wouldn't say Vileplume definitely stunning his team, after getting the poison on Chandelure and putting this one to sleep. E-Meister's having a rough battle.
Yeah, Vileplume's been a great bring now twice in my victories, and it's put in solid work. It helped me out with Snorlax the week prior. It sat in here and walled up on the Persian, which I don't battle a lot of Kanto Persians. Yeah. I knew about the fake out, but that was the only thing I knew about. And I knew it was more physical than special, so I knew that Vileplume was decent in there. I wanted to basically just test out, see what the damage was. The Giga Drain was doing great damage on it, and I was getting that health back. So, Vileplume was just a solid member this week.
Yeah, I feel like my Weezing and your Vileplume are really doing it. These poison types, man.
Yeah, those poison types. I'll make sure to be bringing that.
And
those T-spikes.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little question about what I just want to know, what was the Persian set, because what was that Assurance?
Yeah, I thought that was very strange. Assurance is a move that doubles in power if you've taken damage in that turn. I think I'm remembering that right.
Yeah.
And it's Coach E's fastest Pokemon at 115. So I don't know if this thing was built to take a hit from maybe Inteleon. It outspeeds my Mimikyu. It outspeeds Cloyster. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's a tough call, we'd have to ask, the coach about that. And then I don't know if you want to talk about this play right here.
So this is a big moment in the game. It is a 6-4 game right now with Excadrill asleep, Chandelure at half with a poison. And it's big because I'm thinking to myself, Inteleon can finish out the game. I need to take damage from a flamethrower, and he actually goes overheat. And the luck was on my side today, and that's how Pokemon battles go. I'm usually on the opposite end of it, but I'll take it this time. We get an overheat miss, and at this exact moment, I know Inteleon wins the rest of the match. I can snipe shot the Chandelure, I can snipe shot the Excadrill, I can hit the Girder. I did think the Girder was a little bit healthier than it was, and then there's the Flapple. And I comment about this on the video. Flapple, it's so unfortunate because it's so frail, and it has a bad speed stat. You can't have a bad speed stat and be frail at the same time.
Right. You either gotta be fast or you gotta be slow and bulky,
Yeah, you guys have heard the term glass cannon. This thing can't even be a glass cannon. Because it has no speed.
It's just glass.
So I got the snipe shot damage off on the Flapple as it came in. Not that it mattered, because Ice Beam on a G-Max Flapple was doing 154 to 180%.
Jesus Christ. I was just about to ask you, do you think the snipe shot damage chip mattered? But
nope. Maybe if he had Sash. Maybe if he had a Focus Sash.
Okay.
But then why would you bring it in? And
Why?
take it
Yeah.
in?
Why would you bring it in on that? Right.
Yeah,
And now that you say that, I feel like Slash G Max Flapple is a great bring. You know, Coach E, if you are watching this back, I would definitely recommend bringing that. Now that you said it, you know, because you get to bring in guaranteed a Dragon Dance, and then you know from there you should be faster than a lot of brings.
that's true. That's a good point. It's kind of like everybody keeps telling me to run Sash Cloister. You at least get the one hit, right? So as you can see, Inteleon's just kind of going off. After the Ice Beam took out the G-Max Flapple, it's just Snipe Shot on Girder, Snipe Shot on Excadrill, and we'll finish it up with a Snipe Shot on Chandelure. And, you know, Inteleon just did an amazing job. He fit really well into this matchup. And I pick up a 6-0 victory. I don't think I've ever swept on a draft battle before, but this was awesome.
Yeah, it's a big 6-0 from a team who doesn't have many very hard hitters. I believe it was. You know, that's a really
You're
big.
salty Shuriken up here. Yeah, it was a great matchup. I think when I was looking at his team, I actually prepped a lot for Gigalith,
Right.
Because Snipe Shot doesn't KO a Gigalith.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a.
If you have some special defense build, it can live. It only does like 96%, and you can do whatever you want. Or the sturdy ability, of course, letting it live. Now, obviously, if you're bringing Gigalith, you're probably going to bring it for that Sandstream ability. But then you could do something like Assault Vest to make it live. And here's what I was afraid of. I was honestly afraid of Gigalith for the lead, Inteleon for the lead. I hit it, it lives, and it explodes on me. There's no chance of Inteleon living that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
No, I was actually afraid of that. Garbodor was also a little bit harder for me to deal with as well. That also sat in against a lot of my physical mons and against some of my special attackers really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Garbodor would have been tough, but I got really lucky, and the team that he brought, I just matched up perfectly for.
Yeah, and that's like we seen in week 3, was it? Week 3, and now we're in week 4. You know, you really starting to find your groove with your team, picking up win after win, and you know, after getting the first 6-0 of the season, I'm just looking forward to see what your power ranking movement is going to look like.
Oh, me too. I said it twice in the video, so I apologize on that one, but I am excited to see what the movement is after a 6-0. I've never been in a league with weekly power rankings like this, so it's fun to see that movement.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Do you think you bring it for the PWD season 2?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we've got big plans for PWD.
But yeah, let's get into my match.
All right.
So I'll play the video in 3, 2, 1. So following Shiny's win against Coach EJ in week 3, you know, I get to see the same coach in week 4, and you know, my team prep was all right. I decided to lead off with Weezing once again, you know, kind of taking advantage of the new coach, you know, him not seeing my plays, but like that sidekick from Orbeetle, man, I was like, whoa, wait. Like usually when we talked about Orbeetle, we talked about setting up screens, setting up sticky web, you know, Calm Mind, and I did not expect that sidekick. So
yeah, it's Orbeetle's a very versatile Pokemon. It doesn't find its way super high up because it is a lot of things can deal with it. It doesn't like rocks, which are very prevalent with this meta, and you know, there's a lot of ways to deal with it between rock type Pokemon, fire type Pokemon, dark type Pokemon. So I think that's what keeps it out, but it is actually a really good Pokemon for draft.
Yeah, man, because I was sleeping on it, and that sidekick, I was like, nah, I gotta get out of there.
I think it's great that you got a layer of T-Spikes up. I mean, that's huge damage on your Weezing. And the move over to Gastrodon was good. And then I loved Coach E's play to have Giga Drain.
Yeah, I did spoke to Coach E. He did talk about how he would have liked Energy Ball over Giga Drain because Gastrodon heals more than Giga Drain's damage. Actually, I didn't see it here because
Is
you
it
see,
what's Mega Drain's base? Is it 80 or 90?
I think it's 80, if not 75, 80.
Oh,
So
yeah, I guess
so yeah, and what is Energy Balls?
90.
90. Yeah, that would have been hitting. And I don't want to take a Giga Drain. I don't want to take a Psychic. This thing is just, you know, hitting my defense for a lot. So I bring in Center Scourge for because I know it could take either or. And you know, he brings in his Wheezing, and now from your match, I believe Wheezing was not specially defensive at all. So
It you know, these upcoming plays against Galarian Wheeze, Coach EJ's Galarian Wheezing, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little
very
painful for me to
questionable.
watch. I just
Oh,
wanted to come through the screen and be like, dude, did we? I told you it had 0 special defense.
sorry. So we don't see the Wheezing bring
Oh
here,
yeah, we're
but
getting ahead of ourselves.
yeah, we see the Dracovish, and you know, number one counter to that is Gastrodon. At least for
Have to
me,
counter.
you know, Storm Drain, and after seeing the damage from the Rock Slide, you know, I could tell he cannot touch my Gastrodon with this Dracovish. I just searched up Giga Drain. Its base power is 75.
Nice. Okay, the Ninja Ball would have been good.
Yeah.
So this is my thing with Dracovish, and I said it immensely last week when I took the win against it. You shouldn't be afraid of it. It's a one-trick pony. It runs Fishest Rent, and all the other moves don't really do that much damage. Psychic Fangs is like the only thing that can still do some solid damage.
Right.
Outside of that, there's really nothing to be afraid of.
At that point. So, and like when you have a counter to that, Dracovish clicking anything else is like, you know, not doing any damage, like you said, unless it's the Psychic Fangs. But you know, he had Rock Slide. As we saw, I don't think he had anything to touch Gastrodon.
Yeah. I like your prediction here on Gastrodon to go with the hail. You're predicting that he's going to predict you switching. I
Right.
like that extra prediction. And I think it works out greatly to your benefit to get this hail up for Beartech.
Yo, and like I had the choice band Beartic ready for anything he brought in. You know, sadly he brought in his Gmax. And we'll see in the next play what happens. But I want to say those toxic spikes really put in a lot of work because he now I have 3 Mons poison, the Dracovish, Orbeetle, and Snorlax. So the poison definitely goes a long way, along with the hail on the damage, because
Yeah.
aside from him belly drumming, you know, all the residual damage along with Beartic's hit will do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's gonna the superpower here. I saw the superpower and I realized you said you were choice banded, and I was like, oh, this is going to absolutely obliterate. I don't even care if you're Gigantamaxing this Snorlax. I mean, Snorlax of course is a slow Pokemon, so you didn't even need the hail to outspeed it. But
Right.
I mean, I just thought that this was going to do so much damage, and to see it live,
Bruh.
I was shocked.
I was like, man, sadly we don't pick up the KO. But you know, like I said, with the hail setup and the poison, because look, the hail doesn't even take it out. But
No, it doesn't.
but luckily
Um,
Weezing came through with the toxic spikes. And
I mean, there's a little bit of luck here for you that the replenish didn't find the berry.
right.
I don't know how that works. If the berry goes off right away, I think it does. So
Yeah,
that
I
could
think
have
would have
been
found it and used it.
that could have been really scary.
Yeah, and here, like once that happens, I want to say I did say this before. This is my least favorite battle of mine because, you know, I just started playing kind of kind of silly after Bertic goes down. Like we said, this thing was not specially defensive at all. So
Yeah.
I could have just brought in a Sigalith and KO'd it. Here was a misclick. I meant to go for close combat because, as we saw, I was the eject pack. So once my stats were lowered, I would have been able to bring in something.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was wondering why you wanted to go close combat so much.
Yeah.
I guess the stab damage would have been nice, and to get out would have been okay.
Yeah,
But
because
then you would have had to take that strange steam on somebody else.
yeah, I mean, it was fine because bringing in Virizion, that was the plan. Bringing in, I knew it was faster than a lot of his mons, so I would have been able to just close combat and then leave. So kind of like a U-turn, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And then here I should have definitely gone into Sigalith.
I was gonna say, I'm like, you went Tico so fast, and it's like I was looking, I'm like, the close combat did nothing, the Stone Edge did nothing.
Yeah, so like why would I switch in another physical
I was waiting for you
attacker?
to just like click the Dynamax turn 1 and just go for it and get your fire spin set up and all that kind of stuff. So it was very interesting. I mean, the knockoff is a legitimate play. Gets rid of that recovery from the Black Sludge, but it was very interesting to see that you didn't just Gigantamax and fire off that Gmax Seniferno, if nothing else.
Hey man, I thought he was gonna switch. I was like, man, maybe you don't want to stay in, but him being and like now I go for the coil. It's like honestly, after knocking off, I could have just started fire lashing because I do get that defense drop right after, and I don't think he would have lived maybe 2 or 3, and then after Gigantamaxing,
Yeah, it was it was interesting, and we see the pain split, solid bring from Coach EJ, but and it's just there's so much time here where I can guarantee Coach EJ was sitting there like I wall this thing, so I'm just gonna sit in here.
Right, because that, oh my god, that does a lot of damage, but yeah, that's my Gigantamax just getting chip after chipped.
And then the confusion hits.
Yo.
It was just after Snorlax went down, there was these like several turns where I was just like, okay, I mean, it worked, but it was like maybe the longer way to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely, because
which is like the comment that we make, your team is so good that it wins through misplays.
Even if I press a couple moves here and there, my team could still truck it out. Yeah, and I definitely think Gigantamaxing on that turn at least would have put me in a better position. I'm not sure how the toxic works, but maybe I would have had more health. Maybe I would have had the same amount of health at the end of the turn.
Yeah, I think it just goes off of a percentage. I think it racks up by percentage and starts wearing out the percentages of it.
Right.
But it's just, it's interesting because you never had a chance to set up that fire spin. You could have set up a max overgrowth and started maybe getting some health back.
Okay.
To counter some of that toxic buildup, and maybe you might have had another turn with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go with the Gmax here, and I get it. It's kind of the let's try it, but obviously you're going to get outsped by Charizard.
Yo, and even maybe switching into Gastrodon would have been totally fine. It's just, I think my Centiskorch has kind of done its job. Being that low, being toxic, I didn't want to put it through any more pain after 1v1ing that Weezing. I was just like, you deserve a good rest.
Yeah. Yeah, take a right and arrive at your destination. Instead, you can send out Centiskorch, take a left, go around the block, and get there.
So yeah, I definitely want to start cleaning up these plays going into week 5, but we'll talk about that later.
I mean, it's absolutely feasible too that Coach EJ could have switched around. So bringing in the Bringing in the Verizian, I don't know if you had this thought process. I thought like, okay, maybe EJ did switch up when he saw how well I dealt with it from a especially defensive standpoint. So maybe he could have switched some stuff up. But then after the Stone Age, I was like, nope, that's still max defense.
That is the same wheezing.
That's the exact same wheezing. And Gastrodon, good switch in to come deal with Charizard. I'm surprised he actually left it in as much as he did to take these Scalds.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get a lot of chip off, honestly. Maybe to put Gastrodon in range of Orbeetle. And I want to say maybe recovering on the last turn. Although I do say in the video, like, I didn't want to risk a flinch because I do get flinched by Air Slash a lot.
I do too. I have a bad week 1 flashback. And it's interesting too because, like, for me, when I was looking at EJ's play, like, it would have been interesting to see him go Orbeetle and keep the Charizard healthy,
right? Yeah.
Because it outspeeds some of your team there, and the Orbeetle could have came in. I did forget about T-Spikes, but it could have came in and could have started clicking Giga Drain to counteract, and it's not fun, but honestly, he could kind of stall out on you, force you to switch. It's not a nice thing to do, but it is an option.
Yeah, it is a feasible option, you know. I want to say here, you know, I did predict the Giga Drain, so I switched out to Weezing, obviously could take it. And then I switched back into Gastrodon for the Psychic. And at this point, I'm like, yo, how am I going to play around this Orbeetle? I lost my Scorch, as you guys saw. And I kind of don't want my Mons to keep taking this damage. The timer popping up that says like 3 minutes and a bit definitely forced my hand on the next play too. You know, I want to say that's why having maybe a double layer, I'm not sure when I would have got that in, but if I would have had a double layer of Toxic Spikes, it would have definitely came in clutch. What do you think about like switching back and forth here?
I thought here you came back from kind of the post Snorlax moment. This was actually perfect. You're moving around exactly how you should. You're basically putting it on EJ to make a solid prediction.
Yeah.
And then you actually make the choice to stay in and try to out-predict his prediction. It doesn't go your way, and EJ was just playing safe. So continually switching, even going back into Gastrodon again would have been interesting. All this damage, but I think you had enough, obviously, to take care of it.
I want to say I did forget that my Weezing had Protect. So I could have even stalled out an extra turn of that poison. You know, I go right past Protect and I click Flamethrower. And I watched it back and I was like, yo, man, I could have just protected that turn if anything.
That's funny, and you could have seen the Psychic, switched out to Gastro, gotten a couple more turns of damage off.
Yeah.
And here's a tough part of the play, or a tough part of the game.
Yeah, definitely. After Weezing going down, just bringing in my Sigilyph to get that revenge kill. In here, I'm like, yo, this Weavile probably outpaces me. I might die to an Ice Shard, so let me just go for this Heat Wave. And it turns out I was faster.
You aren't? Are you Scarfed?
No, I'm Life Orb.
Yeah, I think you told me like the Weavile set was wrong.
Yeah, so his Weavile was supposed to be a Jolly one, which I think he had 140 speed EVs just around there, and that was enough to outspeed my fastest Mon Virizion by 1. So if his EVs, if he had the correct nature, I believe he would have won the game there. Maybe not looking back at it because of the time, but if I would have just, let him take out my 2 Mons, definitely he would have had the game. And
yeah.
You hate to see it. What can I say? It happened to me last week, happened to my opponent this week,
Yeah, it's unfortunate, we all do a lot of stuff to work on these Mons each week. We drop a lot of, I'm sure everybody does this, but we drop a lot of berries. Well, I do, because
a lot of
Pokemon.
A lot of EVs,
but you guys probably
berries.
have other sets. So there's a lot of berry usage, and we're hitting a lot of stuff. I think this is a bummer here. I just want to call out real quick before we continue to chat about the Weavile. The timer runs out with the Dracovic It's gonna die next turn. I feel like we should have just taken this as a
Yeah,
what
as
is
a
it? 3-0,
3-0.
4-0,
But
3-0.
yeah.
That's just I get it. I get the timer ran out, but like
It was
nothing was going to
literally
change.
right
There was
there.
nothing to possibly do.
Right. Because let's say I would have earth powered on the turn prior, I guess, that would have been fine. And
I
then
think you
switching.
could have potentially gone down to rock slide, and there's also the flinch potentials. If you
Right.
would have gone earth powers instead of recovers,
Right. Yeah, the flinch potential, and then
but the Weavile is very, very unfortunate.
yeah, like I
that would have
said,
been big for his side.
it happened to him, it happened to me, it happened to you this week with your Mimikyu,
Yeah, we do. It's funny. We do a lot to get these ready, and we can still mess it up with something as simple as clicking on the wrong mon. Yeah, because I think.
and it did happen to you too with the Akaberry Galvantula.
Yep, I've done it twice, 2 weeks in a row, and I've picked up wins. So maybe I got to keep messing something up.
Maybe that's your win con. Maybe that's the luck.
Yeah, I mean the Weavile. If the Weavile sped the Sigilyph, I don't know what's faster, Verzian or Sigilyph.
Verzian, but
Verzian's faster.
Yeah, but he would have been EV to outspeed me by 1, like looking at the calcs.
Okay, 108. Yeah, that's unfortunate because if Weavile outspeeds Verzian and Sigilyph, then yeah, the Weavile wins. Granted, there could have been an Icicle Crash miss.
Yeah.
And at that point, Verizian could have KO'd, obviously would have KO'd Weavile. And then at that point, if you still have Gastrodon around, Gastrodon walls up on Dracovish. So there is some potential for the Icicle Crashes to miss. I know very well about that with my Galarian Darmanitan.
So yeah.
But it's GG's. We both pick up wins.
Yeah, that's what I like to see.
We both are heading into week 5 to take on a truly stellar opponent, each of us, with a win under the belt from the week prior. So
catch you guys over there. Let me pause this. So here, we're looking at each other's opponents, right? And I'm actually going up against Fargo Phalanx. Would you look at that?
And I'm going to be going up against the New York Nickets.
So week 5, it was bound to happen mid-season of the draft, and me and Shiny are going to face each other.
It's exciting. I'm going to be coming in with a 2-2 record, going up against Bishby and his 3-1 record.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Obviously, this week's upcoming week outlook is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to go as in depth, obviously, but Bishby, I mean, what do you think you're going to be bringing? What's your 6 mons?
Well, definitely. I want to say. I want to say your team, like versus mine, it's not cut and dry kind of like who brings who, because as we seen in last match, Gastrodon going up against the water type, so I would say Inteleon. I'm not sure if Inteleon gets a move to really deal with Gastrodon, especially special defensive variant. Your Hitmonchan with the right coverage kind of runs through my team, and the Ninjask, I still don't know what that does, but yeah, looking at it, your team has a lot of ways it could go as well as mine. I have prepped a little something though that will catch a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, it's not some like you said, clean cut and dry. This is the winning strategy.
Right.
It's a really fun outlook. I think you have this is funny because throwback to that week 1 power rankings where Salty Shuriken was all upset. Where it said I didn't have any power hitters. I think I do have power hitters. We've got a very strong core: Mimikyu, Cloyster, Galvantula special attack, Inteleon special attack, Hitmonchan's monster attack potential. Choice Bandit, Muscle Bandit, Life Orbit, whatever. Salazzle, Ninjask, all of them are very, very, very strong. Even Gudra to an extent as well. And then you've got the walls.
Yeah.
You've got the Mandibuzz. You've got the Gastrodon. You've got the super defensive Como-O. I think more Pico even to a little bit can withstand some special attacks and stuff.
Yeah, because just a quick shout out to actually Amogus in his last battle versus a more Pico. He had +2 Nasty Plot with Swoobat, and the more Pico was specially defensive and had an Assault Vest, and it would have ate the hit and got the KO. So,
yeah,
that thing could be a wall.
I think it's got a decent special defense stat.
But yeah, as you said, it's kind of like
58.
Well, it's like 58, but with that much invest, it was living the +2, which surprised me too. I thought this thing was frail, but it goes to show you, like, running these mons a lot of different ways, like how you say you'd like to run special Mimikyu, or even physical or special Gudra and Grimmsnarl. It's just interesting, and like throwback to what you said, my team being like kind of the wall and your team being like the hitters, just like a battle of sword and shield.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's not like you are short on physical attackers, but if you look at these two teams, you gotta take your mindset off of the draft situation and think, all right, if you look at my team, there's a lot of meta over here with Mimikyu, Grimmsnarl, I think even Galvantula and Inteleon.
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of meta, and then you're looking at your side, you see a lot of defensive meta. Gastrodon, Mandibuzz, Como-O. Lots of potential, and I think one thing I'll call out too is you've really learned how to play your Gmax Centiskorch in a defensive mentality. To bring in, you had no problem bringing in on that Psychic or the Giga Drain from
the Orbeetle.
Orbeetle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be a lot to prep for.
Yeah. I'm looking for those screens, man. I'm gonna be watching for them. But
I haven't used screens other than one time.
I wanted to throw back to your match real quick. Like your Grimmsnarl, you didn't even Gmax last match, let alone set up screens. You missed a sucker punch, and then it was out. I took
a hit, missed a sucker punch, bopped out, and that was it. Yeah, I love Gmax Grim, but quick shout out, I don't even use it in my normal meta team because honestly I didn't find it as advantageous as it was in the beginning meta. Right. Like, you saw it everywhere on every team, setting up screens left and right, which is really nice to have. It's a nice to have sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But you also got to think, like, all right, in a Gmax league, if you see my Gmax Grim, it kind of prompts you to want to bring in your Gmaxer.
Yep.
And that's terrible for me because I need 2 turns to set up my screens. So it's interesting. It'll be a fun matchup. I definitely win the speed I win the speed stats for sure.
Yo, your team is so fast, man. I didn't look at it until looking at it now. Inteleon at 120, Ninjas 160, Salazzle 117, and Galvantula 108. Like, the only one that even touches that is Virizion. And it's a speed tie with Galvantula. So, like, your team is definitely the faster team. The speed control is a little rough for me, I want to say.
And what's funny is that I even have speed control on my team too with Galvantula.
Yeah, with
so if somebody does for some reason try to outpace me, it's like I can put them in their place and put
those
down
webs up. Oh man.
It'll be fun though when I go up against a Cinderace for court change. So.
I was surprised you didn't bring your Galvantula in your last match.
This one against E-Meister?
Yeah, against E-Meister.
Actually, so Ninjask was the I dropped Galvantula to bring Ninjask.
Right,
It's
right.
kind of tough because I felt like everybody else played really, really good roles. There was some kind of toss up between Cloyster as well. As you know, I didn't even bring Cloyster out in this set in this matchup this week.
Right.
He didn't even make an appearance off the bench, but there was a toss up between Cloyster and Galvantula, and ultimately what made me drop Galvantula was the fact that I didn't really need that sticky web support.
Right, because your team is just so fast.
And he didn't really have a crazy weakness to electricity. So he had he would have had the Gigalith and the Excadrill support, which kind of stunk for me.
Mm-hmm.
So Galvantula was kind of, for me, I thought, the easiest drop to
Right.
get Ninjask on the board.
Yeah, and I definitely see that, as opposed to looking at my team. You know, my team did suffer against a lot of Thunder. I want to say Thunder Wave, but it was more just paralysis from Coach Sen, which kind of like put me in my place. So I want to say bringing the Thunder Wave Galvantula is scary, you know, against my team, who's already slow. I want to throw out
you got to
there.
think. You're saying Thunderwave Galvantula. Thunderwave Prankster Grim.
Oh man, Thunderwave Prankster Grim along with Sticky Webs Galvantula will definitely put me in my place. Because
I definitely, you know, I'm looking at your threats. I have to kill that Weezing. I need to absolutely murder that thing. And you should totally ignore what I told you last week, that coaches might predict you leading off with that, but you go ahead and lead off with it. I think you should try and set up T-Spikes turn 1 against your upcoming opponent.
Yo, man, I don't worry, I'm looking out for that. The only thing I want to say that does counter that though is you know, your Salazar Vileplume could just come in and absorb that, which we did see with Coach E. But at like I said before, it kind of forces you to bring in those mons.
It does. Yeah, you can kind of point that and get that movement, so that you can try and get the momentum when they think that they might be getting momentum.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out here. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to this battle, definitely. So, yeah, what 6 did you say you were bringing?
Oh yeah, I'm bringing Onyx. I'm bringing 6 Onyx.
6 Onyx? Oh
Yep.
man, all right, watch out for Thievul.
It'll be fun. Anything else?
I think that's it. You know, you guys could look out for the power rankings coming up, and look out for the next video that's gonna be on Shiny's channel. You know, the link will be in the description. Like I said, if you guys missed out on the previous recaps, you know, I got week 2 on my channel, 1 and 3 is on Shiny's, so you guys go check that out if you haven't. You know, these videos are on the little bit of a long side, but you know, it's just that much that goes into breaking down what we got going on in this draft league. I would recommend, if anybody thinking about getting into competitive battling, this is a great way to start, because this is where I started. You know, you get to pick up a lot of mons and kind of pretty much play with them.
Yeah, I love watching draft videos. I learned how to play competitive doing the exact same thing. So you learn a lot about prediction, and you learn a lot about typical builds, common sets, things like that.
So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna pass it on to Shiny to play his outro.
Yeah, so you guys, make sure, if you guys are new to Bishme's channel, make sure you guys hit that subscription button and show some love on the video. Absolutely destroy the like button, you guys. We love doing these analysis videos. We love breaking down our prior weeks, and we absolutely love these collabs that we're getting to jump into.
Yeah.
So make sure you hit that subscription button, and keep on coming back for more of the SRL content over here on both Bishme's channel and my own. And we will catch you guys. We'll catch you guys next week.